Hi, I'm Trisha Morris, and this is the Alpine Club Scrap Page Kit tutorial. So I'm here to just show you how to turn everything we've sent in your Alpine Page Kit into 8 beautiful layouts. I've got my instructions printed, and hopefully you do as well, or you've got them handy on a screen. And also I've got my accordion pocket file, which I've made. So if you're new to Club Scrap and you haven't made your accordion pocket file quite yet, remember that as a member you have access to the instructions in order to make one for yourself. It's not that hard of a project. I just recommend you watching the full video tutorial before you get started. Let's take our instructions and our kit. We've got a little bit of filing to do before we begin, so let's get right on that with our photo mats. We're going to begin with 3 brown photo mats. That's all 3 of them. We'll put them in the pocket for layout 1 and 2 in our pocket file. And then we need 2 white photo mats. Those will go in pocket 3 and 4. We need 1 white photo mat in pocket 5 and 6. And then we're going to use a ton of them on layout 7 and 8. We use all 3 of the bluegrass and all 3 of the bluebird. So this bluebird color reminds me of when my husband would say it's a bluebird day for skiing, and that would be the color of the sky. All of those go in 7 and 8. Now this month I'm really excited about these really cool laser cut stickers, custom design by our very own Jacqueline Carney. I actually used every single one on these layouts. We also have these beautiful charms. I'll set those aside, and I've got the ribbon. I'll set that aside as well. So now let's get some things in order so that we're ready to go for our trimming. I'm going to help you identify and sort the order that we'll be using all of these papers. So the first piece we are going to have to find is just 1 sheet of this 12 by 12 white print. And I'm just going to put that face down on my trimmer as I normally do. And then we'll have 1 12 by 12 of this gorgeous brown print. I love how this is printed with a white ink and then a blue layer added to the top. Then we're looking for a pine plain, and that is really, really, really deep green color. It's beautiful. We're actually going to be using 2 of them. Next, let's locate our sheet of cut apart border strips. And then we have another sheet of cut aparts as well with various journaling prompts and some photo mats on them too. Next, let's sort out our remaining papers. We'll begin with 2 bright sky. Now, the bright sky is just it's almost white. It's just like it would be if it were a bright sky, but what I love about this paper is it has just really tiny little flecks in it. It's a recycled variety, so it's beautiful, and that fleck pattern goes through to both sides. Next we'll reach for the bluebird plain, just 1 of those, so that's that brighter blue, followed by a brown print, which I'll put on my stacked face down. Then 1 more bluebird plain and the other white print, followed by 2 bluegrass plains. Now if I flip all this over back to that white print, everything's ready to go for the trimming phase. Let's take this white print and put it in the trimmer so that the word peaceful is on the right edge running up and down. And we'll make 2 simple cuts, 9.5 and 4.5. Now all 3 of the pieces we just created are all used in layouts 1 and 2, so I'll file them. And remember, your accordion pocket file is only 12 inches wide, as is the paper. So just put it in there at an angle so it doesn't, try to jam it into the pockets. Then the brown print, another nice easy trim. So we're going to put this right side up into the trimmer, and we'll cut at 5 inches. Both of these pieces are used just as is in layouts 7 and 8. I believe that I actually tore the paper with the help of a ruler's edge, but trimming it is just fine as well. All right, pine plain is up. Just make sure you have 1 sheet, and we will trim at 11 1/4, 10 1/2, 9 1/4, 8, and 4. Now I have 2 pieces that are 4 by 12. Let's go ahead and rotate them so they're horizontal and stacked neatly together, and I'll cut at 6. 3 of those rectangles we just made will go in pocket 3 and 4, and the other one goes in 7 and 8. Now we have a bunch of strips here. We have 2 larger strips. Both of those are used in 3 and 4. And And the two narrower strips are used in layouts 1 and 2. We'll take the other pine plane and we'll make 2 simple cuts at 8 and 4. Once again, I'll take the two of the 3 4x12s. We actually made 3 of them. We'll take 2 of them, stack them neatly together, trim them horizontally at 6. All 4 of these pieces, these 4x6s, are used in pocket 5 and 6. And then we have one more 4x12 to trim. We're going to cut that one horizontally at 10 3/4, 8 1/4, and 5 1/2. Okay. Then you have a whole bunch of pieces of all different sizes. The smallest size goes in 7 and 8, and all the rest are used in 5 and 6. So almost that entire sheet of pine paper is used on page 5 and 6. Okay, now we're moving on to these border strips. I'll point out again, like I do every time, that there are just very pale little cutting guides along the edges of this piece. So you can try to line those up with the outside edge of your cutting blade. And what I love about this trimmer is I can actually see the edge of that blade at both the top and the bottom edges. But if you're looking for a little suggestion, I suggest you cut this at around 11 inches to remove the narrowest strip first. And then just go down the line, trimming apart every single component until you reach the end. I've carefully picked up all of the pieces and keeping them in their order. Let's file them. This one, which I like, it has a spot for 2 photos plus some artwork and a title, so that goes in 5 and 6. And then we have this larger strip of just icons. That one goes in 5 and 6 as well. This next one with Ordinary Life goes in 1 and 2. Then Wherever You Go, 7 and 8. These 2 dotted strips, both of them are used in layouts 1 and 2. I Knew When I Met You, 3 and 4. And then this other one with the smaller icons goes in 3 and 4 also. Next, we'll grab our other sheet of cut aparts, and after studying this, you'll notice that we should probably trim the narrow pieces off the edge first, then this wider strip here down to the tags, and same for this next one. So just 2 cuts in this direction. And then I'll rotate, trim these smaller pieces off. And this larger piece, it feels good to be lost, 3 and 4. And then I'll cut apart the 2 tags from the end. The vertical tag is 1 and 2, and the horizontal tag goes in 7 and 8. Now let's grab this next piece. We'll trim that one. The large section goes in 5 and 6. Then let's take the smaller piece and cut that in half. The vertical journaling prompt goes in 5 and 6, and then the horizontal 3 and 4. One more strip to trim apart. I'll place it into the trimmer so the end tags read right side up. Alright. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. That's 7 and 8. We have this little skiing fox. I'm not sure exactly what animal it is. Use your imagination. 7 and 8. And when I ask for directions, please don't use words like east, 5 and 6. And of all the paths you take in life, that's 3 and 4. Wow, that's it. I mean, all the trimming is done. In live time, even from when I was preparing to get started, I'm only at 10 minutes right now in actual live film time. So that's really efficient. Let's go ahead and get ready to start dry fitting layout 8. So if you go to your instructions on page 4 at the bottom, you'll see the image or the thumbnail of what will become layouts 7 and 8. And then I'm also going to take the next paper that I've helped you find in your stack, which is going to be this Bright Sky. Finally, take everything out of your pocket for 7 and 8. The wider piece of that brown print with the mountains on it goes along the right edge of this layout. And then we're simply going to take 2 Bright Sky photo mats and place them in the upper left corner. Now, as you're doing that, just be cognizant of where your corners land. I'm going to try to avoid a tangent by not putting the edge of this photo mat along the edge of this 7 by 12 piece of paper. That would be a tangent. So just watch your corners whenever you're placing things at an angle. If you tend to not like putting things at angles, it might be because you are struggling with the tangent and something about it just doesn't feel quite right. Now in the lower right corner, let's add a green photo mat, and then we'll put this vertical piece here. Now there is a spot that Jacqueline designed just for this adorable little mountain charm, and that'll just be placed in that open spot right at the bottom of the cut apart. Then there is a really narrow piece that we saved. It maybe seemed like scrap worthy, but I'm just gonna tuck it right under here and leave a small area of it open. And what'll happen is if you take this guy, the skiing animal, to the trimmer and you just trim him down a little bit, it'll fit perfectly right into that spot. And then there's also a sticker that will be placed here. Now, we also have a tag, horizontal tag with a hole. So the way I've dealt with this is created the tag shape with a cutting mat, a ruler, and a craft knife. If you position the tag so that you can see the angle, and I'm going to align the 1/8 inch mark of my ruler with the edge of the tag, that will allow me to create the perfect angle for the tag. I'm just going to take the craft knife and remove the angle, and now I have a tag shape. Then if you happen to have a hole punch handy, go ahead and punch that hole. And now you have a really nice looking tag. And if you really want to kick it up a notch, I always keep a little bin of miscellaneous items, and I believe I have some eyelets in here. I just keep like odds and ends in this little container. It was actually a gift or a goodie in a kit a long time ago. And I'm going to go ahead and set that eyelet right into my tag. It's just coming along ever so nicely. Lastly, you can take some of this beautiful sparkling grosgrain. It's such a unique ribbon. It's a new style for us, and it has a combination of some, I believe, silver with the grosgrain in it. I'm just going to tie it on there and trim the tails. Now I have a really nice tag embellishment all ready to go for your layout, so I'll set this aside and pop that on right there. Finally, from the sticker sheet, I can take the goat, the greatest of all time, and pop him onto the lower right corner of the tag. It gets sweeter by the second, doesn't it? All right, I think this page is pretty much set. I will quickly show you the finished layout that I did earlier, and here's how I just cropped out that little guy on skis and then added the sticker here. The charm was attached with Club Scraps bookbinding glue in a needle tip applicator. And I mentioned very briefly that I had torn the edge of this brown paper, and you can see that right there. Okay, let's move on to layout 7. The base for this layout is the other Bright Sky, and then I'm going to flank the left edge with that print, the 5x7 brown print. And here we can put a bluebird photo mat and then nest one of those pine green 4x6s on top of it. Now we have this really long border strip, so I went ahead and just slid that under. And I know it's hiding some of the imagery, but I kind of wanted to keep the mountain visible. And we'll know exactly where to place that once we add our bluegrass photo mats. So this will have to come up a little bit. And that's the advantage of dry fitting everything before you start gluing things down, is that you know you've got a home for every item. From my sticker sheets, I actually added this cute little hiker right to the edge of the wherever you go. And then one more sticker here. And I believe that just rounds out the final page. And you notice again the torn edge here. It does look really nice. So if you do want to take a second and do that, it's pretty easy to use the ruler to tear. I just put it on the edge of my paper. Now my ruler is only 3 inches wide, so if you happen to have another ruler, you can just tack 2 inches on it that way and then tear using the ruler as a support for the paper beneath it. Here I've got the contents from pocket 5 and 6, and the base paper that I need is that beautiful bluebird color. And I just love how this page puzzled itself together. So let's flank the bottom here with one of that nice long border strip. And then I created a series of pre-cut pieces that fit together like a puzzle. So I've got some 4x6s. I'm going to put one 4x6 in the top row and one 4x6 in the bottom row. Then beside the bottom row 4x6, I'm going to add this smaller pine piece. And then I'll add the narrowest here and slightly wider here on the right. And look at that. So it just creates this really cool mosaic-y landscape sort of a feel. I felt that perhaps for this subject matter we'd end up with a lot of horizontal pictures, and planned accordingly. Then you'll remove the little outer corners of this tag and you can add ribbon to it just as before. And on this one, I decided to use my adorable skier here, and we'll just put him at the bottom right corner of our tag. And then we have enough room here above the tag to top it with some ribbon. Let's take a look at that finished page. And here, at this time I tied a bow, and I think that's very sweet, along with our little skiing man. And then down over here you can put one of those sweet little mountain charms, just very tasteful and elegant there in the bottom right corner. The base for layout 5 is the brown print with the mountains on it, and then I'm going to anchor the left side of the page with this wider border strip. Across that, oh, we have this beautiful, again, two-faced satin. I just like to use the double-faced satin because when you tie bows with it, they look nice from either side. So I'm just going to measure a length of this that's slightly wider than my layout and cut that. That's what's going to be sort of just placed on top of this border strip, and you can tape the ends around to the back. Next, grab the large, I just think these are so cool too, these large photo mats from the cut apart sheet, and they fit a 4x6 perfectly. Isn't that awesome how that works? And then we can have another mat right here, nested onto white. So this is pine on a white photo mat. Create that tag by clipping the corners, add 2 eyelets from your stash if you want, and then add some ribbon to that, plus a little round sticker from the sheet. Here's the finished layout. I went ahead and added a bow to this with the satin ribbon. It sort of just ties it in together to have this vertical piece and then the horizontal wrap of the bow. And I believe that goes all the way around, but I don't know what I did there. I think there's plenty of ribbon to go around. So yes, it goes all the way around. And then take a look at what I did here. I just added the eyelets, tied knots with ribbon, and then kind of created what would be a little hanger. And then I could tape the pointed area of the ribbon behind the photo mat. And then I also tucked the round badge sticker right behind the photo mat and slightly behind the tag. And the tag is adhered with foam adhesive circles. Let's take everything out of the pocket for 3 and 4, and our base paper here is the sky. And extremely simple yet elegant layout. We're going to have the larger mat again that was part of the cut aparts on our left, and it holds, of course, one of those 4x6s we trimmed, and then 2 white horizontal mats on the right. There is a border strip that is nested with the pine green, so that fits perfectly, and we'll tuck that behind here. Then up in the top corner I'll add a sticker, and down in the center of this cut apart I'll add another charm. And that said, this very simple layout is complete just with the addition of the sticker. Plenty of room for photos here. For the left side, we'll begin with that white peaceful print, and it really does look peaceful, doesn't it? We have a nested border strip on the pine, so that will anchor down just above the word peaceful horizontally. And we'll take 2 pine green photo mats here. Here's a cut apart and another tag, which you'll remove the corners, punch a hole, and add satin ribbon to it. 1 more sticker at the top, 3 little trees on the lower right. Those are so adorable. Let me quick add those because we can. So we got a little pine tree from the sticker sheet here. Grab those. Just 3 trees in a row. How sweet is that? Now, doesn't that ribbon make a gorgeous addition to the tag? And then here the sticker finishes things off for us up in the left corner. This Peaceful stencil is so cool, and it has 4 layers plus the Peaceful. So here's mountain layer 1, 2, mountain layer 3, 4. So these are all designed to layer together to create depth of the landscape. And if you'll notice, there are 2 tiny little pencil marks here. So I'm going to take those marks and I'm going to line them up. Let's see, this one will go right on the edge of the paper. And then make another dot here. And that's so that I can realign the following layers once I've added my first layer. And then I'll take some spruce ink and an ink applicator. Make sure my guidelines are aligned. And I'm going to do a pretty dark application of this first layer. So if you did this with white, it would probably look more like snow, but I just wanted to keep it simple. Now I'm going to realign those dots with the next row here. Now when I do this, I'm going to just take, I'm not even adding ink to my ink applicator. I'm using the ink that's there. I might just add a touch more. And just going along the edge. I'm not going to fill all this in solid, but just look at that beautiful appearance there. I'm going to skip the word peaceful and move on to the next set of marks. Once again, I'll apply a darker layer of ink, maybe a medium, and then slide up one last time. And then I'll swipe downward. So I'm landing my ink applicator on the stencil and then pulling toward me to create a soft glow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is so, so beautiful. I love, love, love how this looks. Boy, I said that 3 times. Okay, let me just show you on the finished page then. I repeated that side by side all the way on down the line. And that became a border along the top edge of my layout. To save us a little time, I won't do that at this point, but when you do this, just simply add another set of marks that sort of line things up with where they were, and then just go on down and repeat that 3 times. Of course, you don't have to do both layers, but I think that just adds so much. All right, so the remaining pieces will come out of our pocket from our accordion pocket file, 1 and 2. Everything we need should be there. There's a pretty large piece that will go across the middle, and the reason I added this border strip was just so that I would have a guide for where I wanted to place my initial dotted strip here and below. Now behind those 2 dotted strips, I've added a pine panel just to create some contrast between the different areas of the layout. And just appropriately simple, a nice brown photo mat, a tag with brown ribbon and an eyelet added, and then a couple of stickers. Once again, here's the finished layout with our sticker at the bottom, our ribbon topped tag with the eyelet, and then the sticker at the top just in front of the mountains. Our final page 1, we'll get the treetops, will go right to the top, and then the peaceful will be at the bottom. We'll add that border strip here, and then 2 non-tangent touching tilted photo mats, finished with a sticker, and added a little bit of ribbon. The stickers really make the project easy. These beautiful layouts. I had literally no scraps. You can look on the diagrams that we did when we cut. There's not a single piece from all of the papers that we trimmed that wasn't used on the layout. Every last sticker was used. In my ribbon, I maybe had a small scrap of each. I also like to have a little bit of spare in case you use your ribbon differently than I do. I want to quick show you one last member benefit. So if you're not a member, you want to be, because this is such a cool thing. We want to help you use everything we send you, but we also want to help you use what you already have. And so with your kit, you're going to receive a bonus layout formula. And right here is the finished and photos added layout formula for, or page formula for the month of December. I used the entire Peaceful stencil here and added some stamped images throughout the layout to finish it off. But other than that, very, very simple. I just used plain papers from the Alpine collection to finish these two beautiful pages. So don't forget about that awesome monthly member benefit. Download it right when you get your kit or you get your notification so you have this ready. And if you are stumped for ideas, this is a great place to start. Well, I hope you learned a few things with our Alpine video tutorial, and card makers, please come back and do the Alpine card kit with me as well. We'll have a lot of fun.